Hello and welcome to the Year 7 into Year 8 subject selection information video. The information contained in this video is aimed at introducing the subject selection processes currently used at Padua College. As Year 7 students will be doing this for the first time, this video is directly aimed at helping them with understanding what is required and expected during this process. The first time students will get to make their subject selections is Term 4 of Year 7, where students will pick their elective subjects for Semester 1 of Year 8. Important in understanding what goes into the subject selection process and the elective decision making is the middle phase vision. The middle phase at Padua College is a period of learning where students belong to a community that strives to help boys acquire and deepen the skills that they need to become the men they want to be. What's really important in this vision statement is that focus on skills. The middle phase is all about collecting the skills in the various subject areas that the students think they may want to pursue in the later years of their studies or in possible future career pathways. In addition to this information video, the most important resource with regards to the subject selection process is the Subject Selection Handbook. This book is available on my Padua in the subject selection tile. A link to this section will be provided in the video description below. Subject selections as a process occur 3 times during the middle phase of learning. The first will be for Year 8 Semester 1. The students will then pick again for Year 8 Semester 2 before making their final middle phase subject selections heading into Year 9, where the intention is that by Year 9, students are selecting a whole year program. During their subject selection process, students will be able to select 2 electives. It is important for Year 7 students to remember that there is a connection between the Year 7 Discovery Program and the Year 8-9 elective program. The Discovery Program was designed to be an introduction to all middle phase electives on offer at Padua College. As such, we would expect students to draw on their learning experiences across the 8 Discovery subjects when they are looking to complete their elective choices. A great point of reference to look at reminds students of what they did, how they worked, and the type of focuses that the subjects had would be to look through the evidence that they compiled in their Discovery OneNote. In the Year 8 elective program, students will have 9 elective subjects from which to choose. These are Art, Business Studies, Design, Digital Technologies, Drama, Industrial Technologies, Japanese, Music, and STEM, which runs as a Maths Science Extension subject. We will ask that students submit 2 electives from the above list as their first preferences for their subject selections. When they put these preferences in, we do want them prioritised. The number 1 subject the student wants to do, followed by their second preferred option. We will require students to include 2 reserve subjects. Whilst we make every attempt to enrol students in their primary selections, sometimes due to limited resources, timetable clashes, or subject popularity, we may not be able to accommodate all requests. In this case, we want students to have reserves of subjects that they would happily do. Please note that in the subject selection process, STEM runs as an extension subject, and as such, does have prerequisites for students to be enrolled in this elective. Students must be achieving high results in both maths and science. Now we should look at some things that a student should be considering when making his elective decisions. Firstly, electives are assessed in Years 8 and 9 in the same way as core subjects are, and that is on a 15-point A to E scale. The Discovery subject was assessed on a portfolio basis, where students were assessed against 3 general capabilities: critical thinking, collaboration, and creative thinking. These were assessed on a meeting capability, exceeding capability, or below capability. This is different once we reach grade 8 and grade 9. Additionally, Electives will go towards a student's GPA. So students may want to think about the following when they make their elective choices. Firstly, their enjoyment of the subject. It's really important that we have boys in lessons doing subjects that there is a level of enjoyment and engagement with. Secondly, we would suggest that boys look at their areas of success. We want to be in a subject that we set ourselves up for maximum success. And finally, we might want to start thinking about possible future career pathways. And does the elective choice align with those? Some other points to remember when considering what elective choices you might want to make is that the Discovery Program offerings of the subjects were designed to help students initially connect with what the subject was all about. Think of it as it was a taste test of what the subject will be on full offering. The elective program offering of the subjects will then allow students to further acquire the essential skills and understandings required in that subject, and then look to deepen these skills to help get the boys ready for the senior phase of learning and how these subjects operate in that space. It's important to remember that Year 8 electives are not prerequisites for Year 9. So a student is encouraged to try a subject that they aren't sure about. Maybe this is something that they might want to pursue further in their studies. And then if it isn't the one for them, they can make some different choices going into either semester 2 of Year 8 or into Year 9. Just as there were things that we want students to consider when making their decisions, there are also some things that we would ask that students avoid when making their subject selections. The middle phase is all about helping students to become who they want to be as a learner. So students ultimately should be picking subjects that they are interested in and that matches their learning preferences. We should not have students basing their elective choices on what other students are or aren't doing. That someone said to a student that they will like or dislike a subject. What teachers may or may not be teaching it, and what subjects are considered popular. Students need to note that once their elective choices are made, these cannot be changed mid-semester. So now let's talk a little bit about the specific process that will be related to the actual selection of your subjects. All students will receive an email from noreply@selectmysubjects.com.au. A visual of this email is provided below. It is imperative, students, that you do not delete this email. It contains a unique link to your web preferences. This is where you will click on to go and record specifically against your name what subjects you choose. Once students click on the link and open their web preferences for their subject selections, all the information is provided in the subsequent screens. It's really important that students read the top instructions that relate to what is expected and required on each page. These also include links to helpful resources that students and parents can click on should they not understand what is required in a particular step of the process. To assist students, there is a how-to video on my Padua in the Year 8 subject selection folder that will guide you through, with visuals, step by step, how to complete your web selection processes. Again, this will be linked in the video description below. Once students have completed and confirmed their subject selections, there will be a confirmation slip. We ask that students please print this slip out to confirm that you have completed the process, and then return this to your core teacher, who will pass it on to teaching and learning. It's important to remember that this is going to be a new process for our Year 7 students, and as such, you may need a little bit of support in your first time completing it. The number one resource available to support you in completing your subject selections is the Year 8 subject selection folder on my Padua. This is linked in the video description below. This section of my Padua contains a range of resources, all designed at supporting students in making their subject selections for the first time. The resources that I would recommend students engage with first are the Year 8 Subject Selection Handbook and the video about how to complete my subject selection process online. Should these resources not answer all the questions that students and parents may have, we encourage you to please reach out and let us know. The number one way to make contact with us would be through an email to teachingandlearning@padua.qld.edu.au. Thank you for watching this video, and we hope that the information contained within it makes the subject selection process easy and clear for all.